So there you go. That was quite the experience, wasn't it? Wow. So obviously I am back home. It's like I can feel it being all gritty in here. I don't think it would make a difference where you lived right now. It's like the air is thick with dust. I feel like every state, wherever that came from, needs to take their dust back because it's freaking ridiculous. Hey Ainsley, how are you? So good to see you. Oh my God, it's all happening. So what I wanted to talk with you about, take 2, is this thing around, hey Carol, this thing around pre-organizing your content or doing it free flow. And I'm going to try very hard to not be distracted by all the freaking sirens going. I'll show you. Okay, look, I'll quickly show you the view of my office today. Like, look at my floor. That's supposed to be cream tiles. That white cushion over there is going to be like orange. I don't know what you can see through there. Oh my God. Oh my God. Breaking it. Go. Oh my gosh. I can't even make my phone work. Drive the phone, Nicola. Drive the phone. All right. There we go. And we're back in the room. Okay, my gosh. So yeah, this whole subject around whether you create a plan for your content or whether you don't. There are 2 schools of thought. Number 1 is to not do it. And then the second school is to do it. You guys know me, or some of you know me pretty well by now to know that I love me a good strategy, love me a good plan. I really love a really amazing framework. I really like having something to rely on, right? So for me, the idea of having a content framework, which is actually why I created the content map for you guys last year, like as a free thing, and also for myself, was because it helped me put a framework around my thinking. It helped me to really organize my thoughts and make sure that no matter what happened, that I was going to have a topic of inspiration to talk about, even on those days where I felt like I wasn't feeling very inspired, or like when I was like, oh, I don't even know what to say today. So some of you will remember last year, for the majority of last year and actually partway through the year before, I was doing my view of kind of like a live TV series, if you will. So what that meant was that every Tuesday at 11 o'clock in the morning, I was going live without fail. 11 a.m. and tick over and I'd press go live, and I would have my content worked out for what I was going to say. So the one from last year was called Unstoppable Entrepreneur Live, Becoming Professionally Famous Online. And so what I did is I mapped out each episode. I've gone, the first one was show up or shut up. The next one's you do have a message, you just need to clarify it. The next one was being you in business. What else did I talk about last year? Where to show up online, finding your voice, personal branding with confidence. It's not always about the money, the launch process and timeline, create it and then sell it, or sell it, then create it, like which way around should you do it? And then I did a thing that was a day in the life of me. So the reason that I had that was so that for me, it felt like, if you think about a series on Netflix that you are really like engrossed in, often it'll come up with the name, like the title name, right? And even if you can't, if it's being drip fed out, like you might not be able to go and binge watch the whole season, it gives you an indication of kind of what's coming, and it can kind of whet the appetite, right? And so that was the reason for that. The other stuff though, for my Coffee Run Live episodes, live streams that I was doing, they were the 9 o'clock ones. So 9 a.m. every day I would turn up, and a lot of the time I might have had in my planner, which is what I was trying to show you guys as the dust storm kicked in, very dramatically, might I add. I would usually have like a topic listed at the top in my planner as to what it was that I was going to talk about. So usually the Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday ones were really all around, a piece of advice, a hint, a tip, a jam, they were a little bit more free flowing. So what I decided to test was a different way of kind of free flowing with the content, free flowing with ideas, free flowing with topics and stuff like that. And I've been doing that for the majority of this year, and I haven't done it I've done it where I didn't have a specific time kind of scheduled into my calendar and therefore your calendar where I was going to be turning up live. And consequently, what I've actually found is the volume of people who watch live has gone right down. The number of people who tend to comment has kind of gone down because there's not the same volume of people coming up. So the 4-month test, I've decided actually last week has come to an end, and it's got to be, for me, it's got to be a regular thing. Now, you might be someone who is totally driven by off the cuffness. Maybe you're totally driven by spontaneity. Maybe you're totally driven by driving along the street and going, oh my gosh, like that's a really great example there. I'm going to go talk about that. A lot of us don't operate that way, and there's nothing wrong with it, but trying to make your delivery, your content creation be just completely ad hoc, free flowing whenever the will strikes you doesn't work for a lot of people, and having structure doesn't actually work for a lot of people. So I like to do it as a bit of a hybrid. Okay, so here's my advice, and you'll actually see this start to play out over the next few weeks. If you've got questions about it, let me know. So I create my content map to make sure that I've got consistency of message. And if I'm sitting here thinking like, oh shit, what the heck am I going to talk about today? What am I going to do today? What's the live stream topic going to be about today? I can just look at my content map, look at the week that we're up to, and go, yeah, bang, that's what I'm going to do. Now, if you don't have a copy of the content map, it is free. You can just download that puppy. Let me know, and I'll shoot you through the link. Just comment below and I'll send you through the link that you can use to opt in for it, download it. Prints off in A4. You can do it on a PDF if you've got one of those PDF editor things like some of my clients have. They're so clever. I don't know how to do that. And then you can just plug it in and make sure that you're on track. There's a video training as well that comes along with it that's really super powerful. But I think the thing that I find really interesting, and this is something that I've sort of done on again and off again over the years, is I'll be working with a mentor and they will sort of say, oh, like, why don't you try this or why don't you try that? Because this is a type of stuff that's worked for them. And, I'll try it because I'm all up for trying anything. And then I kind of find my own way, my own groove with it. So to me, it's important to have some kind of structure. It's important to have some level of organization, because for me, that then is the thing that creates the freedom. So it's a little bit like having my list. The discipline of working through that list actually, for me, creates a sense of freedom. Now, that doesn't mean a little bit like today, I'm like, oh, okay, so what do I feel like talking about? Oh, I don't know, let's chat about, because it was a question I was asked on the weekend on the Gold Coast in my penthouse. The question was asked around, well, like, how much content should you schedule? How much content should just be kind of like off the cuff, or what's the best way to do it? And really, to me, like, the best way to do it is the way that works. What is the vehicle that creates the most space for you to be able to share your message? What is the best way for you to be able to download the information, or however it is that you do that, whether it's writing in a journal, whether it's speaking, whether it's writing, typing into your computer, whether it's when you're running, whatever it is, what is the best way for you to access that message and then do it? For me, it's making sure that I've got the underlying structure so that I can then layer all of the other stuff in. So I guess really for me, the key message that I wanted to share with you guys today is that there's actually, number one, nothing wrong with having a whole bunch of structure. There is actually nothing wrong with having a bit of a plan, a map, and things like that. Where it becomes unhelpful or unresourceful if you're rigid and the you-ness of you isn't coming through, right? Okay, so I just want to, just give me 1 second. I just want to share this. Oh, do you know what's really, really funny? Just as a completely different aside, I put a post up not long before leaving the house to go take my daughter to netball training. I was sitting in the car watching them train for netball when I was talking to you guys while I was waiting for them to train in netball. And the post that I put up just before actually had hashtag eat my dust bitches. In reference to like new people coming up, and it was actually more for you than it was for me because, you know, whatever. But it's so funny that, eat my dust bitches, which I don't ever say, and then bang, the dust storm rolls on in, and I didn't even know it was coming. That's kind of like an instant manifestation right there. Shit, that's really crazy. Look how powerful I am and all my manifestation goodness. Now if I just said like, come around my house and smell on my money, maybe that might make it rain $100 bills from the sky and all of those beautiful green ones that are, you know, so nice to have and smell all money like. There you go. So that is my little thing for today. I want you to make sure that you're doing things in your way, in a way that feels good for you. If somebody turns around and says to you, well, the best way for you to create content is just to be completely off the cuff, go for a walk down the river or go by the ocean and just plug your headphones in and just talk about whatever the heck it is that comes out, you know, not saying that's a bad strategy. But if you're someone who's really driven by structure and you find it easier to work from a framework and have that certainty around what you're going to talk about, then it's okay to actually put that in place. You know, the beautiful thing about humans is that we're all different, right? And it's just about you finding the best way, the best conduit, the clearest conduit for you to be able to access that beautiful God-given message and talent and way of being able to express that out into the world. And for some of you, it's on live stream. Some of you, it's writing. Some of you, it's, you know, on a podcast. You know, it doesn't really matter. But create the space for you to be able to do what you need to do. So if you want to download my content map, I'm just going to put, I think it's in here. Like, it's free. I'm not selling you anything. Although, if you want to be in the It Factor, we're going to work on this in the It Factor. We close, I'm shutting that on Friday, and it's really freaking amazing. You're going to be so media ready. You're going to be content map. You're going to have your absolute, so here's one of the cool things that we did on the weekend. We developed the people have decided to call it the Web of Awesomeness. And it was actually inspired by one of my clients, Jeremy and Kim. Actually, they're a husband and wife team. Oh my God, my desk is so dusty. And I said, oh, it's like the Web of Awesomeness. So the Web of Awesomeness is where you're actually able to put your intellectual property, your way of thinking, your unique message into a framework that not one other person on the planet could possibly copy. They could copy it if they came across it, but it creates a really beautiful framework to be able to work within that develops your own unique way of being able to discuss, disseminate, write, jam about the magic that you do with people that not one other person has ever done before. So, you know, that it forms the basis of your book, it forms the basis of your keynotes, it forms the basis of your media articles. It does absolutely everything. So if you need to be in that, message me and I'll send you more information. All right, everybody, have a really amazing evening. I'm going to go and start cleaning dust.